Hey friends, welcome back. Feels like I haven't seen you in forever. Well, today we are starting another RIRA. We are going to be doing Lon PoPo by Ed Young, and it is a Red Riding Hood story from China. All right, so I'm going to read it today all the way through, and I'm going to show you the pictures. Once, long ago, there was a woman who lived alone in the country with her 3 children, Shang, To, and Poots. On the day of their grandmother's birthday, the good mother set off to see her, leaving the 3 children at home. Before she left, she said, "Be good while I'm away. My heart-loving children, I will not return tonight. Remember to close the door tight at sunset and latch it well." But an old wolf lived nearby and saw the good mother leave. At dusk, disguised as an old woman, he came up to the house of the children and knocked on the door twice. Bang, bang. Shang, who was the eldest, said through the latch door, "Who is it?" "My little Jules," said the wolf. "This is your grandmother, your Popo." "Popo?" Shang said. "Our mother has gone to visit you." The wolf acted surprised. "To visit me? I have not met her along the way. She must have taken a different route." "Popo," Shang said, "how is it that you come so late?" The wolf answered, "The journey is long, my children, and the day is short." Shang listened through the door. "Popo," she said, "why is your voice so low?" "Your grandmother has caught a cold, good children, and it is dark and windy out here. Quickly open up and let your Popo come in," the cunning wolf said. Teo and Potes could not wait. One unlatched the door and the other opened it. They shouted, "Popo, Popo, Po, come in." And at that moment he entered the door. The wolf blew out the candle. "Popo," Shang asked, "why did you blow out the candle? The room is now dark." The wolf didn't answer. Tao rushed to their Popo and wished to be hugged. The old wolf held Tao. "Good child, you are so plump," he embraced Potes. "Good child, you've grown to be so sweet." Soon the old wolf pretended to be sleepy. "Oh," he yawned. "All the chicks are in the coop," he said. Popo is sleepy too. When he climbed into the big bed, Pyotes climbed in at one end with the wolf, and Shang and Tao climbed in at the other. But when Shang stretched, she touched the wolf's tail. "Popo, Popo, your foot has a bush on it." "Popo has brought hemp string to weave you a basket," the wolf said. She touched grandmother's sharp claws. "Popo, Popo, your hand has thorns on it." "Popo has brought an owl to make shoes for you," the wolf said. At once Shang lit the light and the wolf blew it out again, but Shang had seen the wolf's hairy face. "Popo, Popo," she said, for she was not the eldest, she was the most clever. "You must be hungry. Have you eaten ginkgo nuts before?" "What is ginkgo?" the wolf asked. "Ginkgo is soft and tender like the skin of a baby. One taste and you will live forever." Excuse me. Forever, Shang said, and the nuts grow on the top of the tree just outside the door. The wolf gave a sigh. Oh dear, Popo is old. Her bones have become brittle. No longer can she climb trees. Good Popo, we can pick some for you, Shang said. The wolf was delighted. Shang jumped out of bed and Tao and Potes came with her to the ginkgo tree. There, Shang told her sisters about the wolf and all three climbed up the tall tree. The wolf waited and waited. Plump Tao did not come back. Sweet Potes did not come back. Shang did not come back, and no one brought any nuts from the ginkgo tree. At last the wolf shouted, "Where are you, children?" "Popo," Shang called out. "We are on top of the tree eating ginkgo nuts." "Good children," the wolf begged, "pluck me some, or pluck some for me." "But Popo, ginkgo is magic only when it is plucked directly from the tree. You must come and pluck it from the tree yourself." The wolf came outside and paced back and forth under the tree where he heard the three children eating the ginkgo nuts at the top. "Oh, Popo, these nuts are so tasty. The skin is so tender," Shang said. The wolf's mouth began to water for a taste. Finally, Shang, the eldest and most clever child, said, "Popo, Popo, I have a plan. At the door, there's a big basket. Behind it is a rope. Tie the rope to the basket, sit in the basket, and throw the other end up to me, and I can pull you up." The wolf was overjoyed and fetched the basket and the rope, then threw one end of the rope to the top of the tree. Shang caught the rope and began to pull the basket up, and halfway she let go of the rope and the basket and the wolf fell to the ground. "I am so small and weak, Popo," Shang pretended. "I could not hold the rope alone. This time I will help," Tao said. "Let us do it again." The wolf had only one thought in his mind, to taste a ginkgo nut. He climbed into the basket again. Now Shang and Tao pulled the rope basket together higher and higher. Again, they let go. And again, the wolf tumbled down, down, and bumped his head. The wolf was furious. He growled and cursed. "We could not hold the rope, Popo," Shang said, "but only one ginkgo nut and you will be well again." "I shall give a hand to my sisters this time," Pyotes, the youngest, said. "This time we shall not fail." Now the children pulled the rope with all their strength. As they pulled, they sang, "Hi-yo, hi-yo," and the basket rose straight up. Higher than the first time, higher than the second time, higher and higher and higher until it nearly reached the top of the tree. When the wolf reached out, he could almost touch that highest branch. But at that moment, Shang coughed, and they all let go of the rope. And the basket fell down and down and down. Not only did the wolf bump his head, but he broke his heart to pieces. "Popo," Shang shouted, but there was no answer. "Popo," Tao shouted, but there was no answer. "Popo," Pyote shouted. There was still no answer. The children climbed to the branches just above the wolf and saw that he was truly dead. Then they climbed down, went into the house, closed the door, locked the door with the latch, and fell peacefully asleep. On the next day, their mother returned with baskets of food from the real Popo, and the three sisters told her the story of the Popo who had come. The end. Now, let's talk about this, all right? who were the characters in this story? Do you remember? Wasn't it Shang, Tao, and Piotes? Those were the three sisters. And then we also had a wolf, didn't we? Now, Mom is in this story, but Mom is only there at the beginning and at the very end, right? Yes. And Popo, we never did meet through this story because the wolf was portraying her. So it's basically the three children and the wolf. So where does this story take place? It says it in the first line. Once long ago, there was a woman who lived alone in the country with her three children. Where did it take place? In the country. But this was in the country of China. So it took place in China, in the country. So let's think about this. What happens in the beginning of this story? Remember? Mom leaves, right? She goes to visit Popo for her birthday and leaves the children at home. So what happens next? Well, while the kids are away, or while the mom is away, there's a knock at the door, and it's the wolf portraying himself to be Popo and is saying, "Let me in. I've come a long way to see you." And they were kind of suspicious because they knew their mom had just left to go see Popo. And he's like, "Oh, we must have missed each other or something." And then they go on for a little bit. And the two little children let her in the door, the wolf in the door, basically. And from that point, letting them in the door, the wolf blows out the light and gets into the bed. At that point in time, once he gets in the bed, all the children get in bed too. Shang figures out it's a wolf though, because her foot touches his tail and his claws. And he makes up an excuse. And then she lights that match and sees his face and realizes, oh, it's the wolf. So she tricks him. She convinces the wolf that there's a tree outside the house that's got ginkgo nuts in it that he needs to take some of because it will make him young again, make him live forever. And so he really liked that idea. And so Shang took her sisters to the top of the tree and told them what was going on. And so they started tricking the wolf, saying, well, if you go in and get this rope in this basket and throw us up the rope, we'll pull you up. Well, they did the first time, and they did it again, pulled him up a little higher, and they dropped him again. But they pulled him up the third time and let him drop, and he fell down and broke his heart to pieces. And the children got out of the tree and ran back home and locked the door and fell fast asleep until the next day when their mom came home and they told her the story of the Popo. Wow, that's a lot going on, isn't it? Yes. Okay, so that is it for today's lesson. I will see you back here tomorrow for the second part of this lesson. Bye.